folks? Danny, Tamika. We're here from central Minnesota, still, as of right now, under quarantine, so we are still doing kayfabe jiu-jitsu from our dining room. So, I mean, not our dining room, some other undisclosed area. It's our dining room. Today, I want to talk about the laziest submission that I do, the one that requires the least amount of movement and the least amount of setup. This is a very lazy submission, but it's very effective. It works really, really well, but it's not very impressive looking. So what I want you guys to comment with what you think is the laziest submission you do. Which one do you get without a lot of effort, if it works? So for me, that's the reverse arm entanglement from, I call it side saddle, which is just kind of side mount modified so you're facing the head. Let's jump into it. So we're here. This is one of my favorite positions to seek submission from when I'm on top, because it's very easy to control this position. I have an underhook on this side. Please note this is very, very different than this. This is not something that I play with a lot. I know there are people who do it very successfully, and that's freaking great for them. But I don't like getting reversed, and I'm not very big. So this is a fairly dangerous position for me. Sometimes I'll be here and I'll be trying to control this, and they'll grab and I'll end up getting rolled over, all that. With a bigger fella, that's hard to stop. So I do have an underhook on the far side. That, if she grabs around my waist now and tries to pull me, that is not going to happen. I'm able to kind of keep my ribs in contact with her. The other big detail is my hips aren't on the floor. I'm here. So I've got weight on them. Alright, so when I want to attack this arm, I'm going to pull my elbow back and I'm going to grab the wrist. I like to grab it with just the thumb on the inside and here, because my primary power is going to be pushing this way. I'm not going to be pulling or doing a whole lot here. I'm just going to be pushing this forward. So when I get a hold of it, I'm going to start to push, but I'm not going to push straight here in an attempt to capture. People are actually pretty strong here. I'm pushing against their whole shoulder here. What I want to do is I want to convince her to pull it up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it more toward the middle of my legs. Now if she lets this happen here, I'm just going to step over, we come up, and I'm going to start attacking over here. But most of the time when I start pushing this way, they kick the arm north, because they're afraid of this arm bar, or they're afraid of getting moved more into crucifix or salivary position. So they kick it north, because people are in general a lot less scared of Americanas. So here. As soon as I feel this arm start to kick north, I'm going to stick it under my leg here. So when I get to here, I go wide and I go over the wrist. I'm trying to get over the wrist. Now depending on your knee flexibility, it might be here, or you might be able to get all the way here. This would be best. Now you can triangle this up and start to push and get that lock. But there's an even lazier way to do it. I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to staple it to my knee. My knees sort of pinch together. I'm going to reach down, I'm going to find her head, and I'm just going to touch her ear to her shoulder. That also impinges the shoulder here in the same way it would if I was pushing this down toward the floor. The reason I like to do that a little bit more is sometimes if I'm not as far down on the wrist as I want to be, if I start to push this toward the floor, she could move her wrist and pop that out. Especially if I'm pushing real hard, that can slip out, and I don't like that. So when I get to here, instead of pushing down, come here, and I move the head. It's real subtle, so I'll do that without the arm here. I'm grabbing the head, and I'm just pushing her ear to her shoulder, like this. You can see the shoulder comes up off the ground there. If I'm holding the wrist to the ground, that'll impinge the shoulder. So that's what I call the laziest submission I do, personally. I don't know that I was ever told a name for that submission. I think in judo it's called like reverse arm entanglement or something. Judo guy, feel free to answer in the comments what it's called, then I'll know what to call it from now on.
Fun fact, This is the very first submission that was ever done to me in a tournament.
You are 100% correct. I had forgotten about that. It was a 6-foot-tall lady who very gently,
She's very gentle.
very gently applied. This was, 8 years ago when we were white belts.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that. I think it was at a sub hunt.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So I would consider this the laziest submission that I do, but I want to hear the lazy submissions you guys do. So throw them in the comments. Please make my day. I love lazy submissions. They're hilarious. So that's all I've got for today. So no gi, reverse arm entanglement thingamajig. Give it a whirl. It's a lot of fun. And plus, if you miss, you still end up in crucifix or Salavery's position. So why not? All right. Talk to you guys soon.